one game away. Blow up. We're playing for something, man. We're playing for something. It's gotta mean something to you. It gotta mean something. Everything you got. Everything you got. Let's finish this.
Do it, fellas.
Let's go.
Let's do it, fellas.
Finish 2-3. 1, 2, 3. Finish.
I'm gonna be honest with you, yo. I'm really trying to figure out why the fuck Donovan Mitchell would stay with Utah. Like, why would he not request a trade at some point in time in the next year or two? Like, Utah lost again tonight to a Dallas Mavericks team that does not have Luka Doncic playing. They were at home. Yo, unless I'm mistaken, the only injury for Utah, I think, is Ingles. If Joe Ingles being hurt make you play this bad, I don't even know what it is with Utah, man. Like, Utah it's a sad franchise at this point. It's a sad franchise at this point, and I don't know how you're going to keep Donovan Mitchell. Like I said, you switch from the nice jerseys to these ugly-ass jerseys that you got on right now. And by the way, how's it fucking going today? Yo. I was talking to my cousin today, and he don't really talk to people, you know what I'm saying? Like, he don't really, you know what I'm saying? He not really a social being, even though we all are social beings. We just don't know it. But, like, the only person he really interact with a lot is me. And he talked to my mom. But, so we was talking today, and he was like, I don't know how everybody, like, he laughed every time I'm talking and shit. Because he was like, every time you talk to people like they your homies. I'm like, yeah, man. I said, as long as I'm being respectful to them, man, it's not that I talk to them like they my homies. I talk to everybody with a great level of respect and excitement. Like, I'm excited to talk to them. You know what I'm saying? Like, every day I tell somebody, what's up? I can tell that same person, hey, every single day, and every single day I'm going to present it to them with some energy. Somebody walk up to me, what's up, Saint? What's good with it? The fuck is up? Older woman today came up to me. It's like, what's up, Saint? I was like, what's up? Now she was like, how you doing today? I was like, what's up? How you doing today? And he started laughing. He was like, man, you talk to her like. I said, listen, every day when you talk to somebody and they greet you and you greet them as if you excited to greet them, because I really am excited to greet people who greet me, or to greet people that I choose to greet. Like, if somebody take the energy to tell me what's up, to greet me, I'm going to give them a great level of energy back, because they didn't have to tell me what's up. They didn't have to greet me. They didn't have to take a couple seconds out of their day and use that type of energy to send positive energy my way. So I'm going to send a great dose of positive energy back. And I tried to explain it to him. He understood what I was saying. He was laughing and everything, but not like a condescending laugh, like a damn, that's dope type of laugh. Like, I like that you think of it like that. Like, I like how you perceive this type of shit, basically, is what he was thinking, or what he was saying. And I was like, basically, I don't allow myself, no matter how the day going or whatnot, or how life going, what I try not to do is, when I greet somebody, I try not to make it an everyday mundane type thing. Like, I'm just greeting you every day, not because I want to, but because it's done become a part of the day. Like, every time I see you, I say, hey, how you doing? You know what I'm saying? Like, if every day somebody took time out of their day just to be like, hey, how you doing? Just every day when we pay, hey, how you doing? Hey, how you doing? You know what I'm saying? Like, you could just say that type of energy, bro. Dead ass. Like that. I'm not trying. I don't never want people to think when I'm telling them what's up or when I'm greeting them that I'm just doing it because it's an everyday routine or because I feel like I have. You know what I'm saying? Never gonna give nobody that type of energy. Never gonna get that type of energy. You know what I'm saying? So, just something to think about. But back to fucking Utah. I didn't watch the Utah game. I'm not finna waste my time watching that game, but I did watch 2 games tonight. But yeah, Utah gonna have to do something, man. I don't know how you keep. I imagine the coach is gone at this point. I don't even think they got a bad head coach. I just think Utah have a ceiling, and I don't know how long Donovan Mitchell you can keep him in Utah because I just don't know how long you can keep him in Utah because I don't know how you get any other superstars or any other stars in Utah to play alongside Donovan Mitchell. And you could trade Rudy Gobert, but who is you bringing back for him? Like, Utah going to have to try to hit the swing for the fences like OKC did a couple years back when they went and got Paul George. Dead ass. And maybe he re-signed with you like Paul George did. Who knows? But Utah gonna have to make a drastic change because this team, man, Jesus Christ. But they in Minnesota now. They in Minnesota. I ain't never seen them playing nowhere but Memphis. Now they in Minnesota. Alright, Karl. Memphis Grizzlies came back from a 26-point deficit 2 different fucking times. In Minnesota, I said Memphis, right? Memphis came back from the 20-plus deficit twice in Minnesota. On a night where Ja Morant did not shoot the ball particularly well, but everybody else on the team stepped up. And I'm going to tell you something. I enjoy this series. I thoroughly enjoy this series. And I'm going to tell you why. Both of these two teams talk a lot of shit. And I'm here for it. I have absolutely no problem with these boys talking shit, regardless if they can back it up or not. I'm excited to see when they talk shit and back it up. I'm excited to see when they talk shit and don't back it up. Like, you could see when Memphis had came back in this game and when the clock was winding down when they was about to win this game, they had already started talking their shit. And I love it. I'm here for it. When Ja Morant hit a bucket and started talking, anybody else hit a bucket and start talking, I'm here for all the antics. I'm telling you right now. I'm here for all of it. And both of these teams do a lot of that talking. So these are perfect two teams to match up against each other. Now, I do think Memphis is going to win this series, even though Minnesota has a great team. I just think even though Minnesota has good players on their team, I just think Memphis is the better all-around team. Not to mention, Memphis is playing a game that they actually, for one, I think it's beneficial to Memphis that Minnesota ain't hitting a ton of threes. Like, they're not able to get away out of these. And when they do pull away, they come back down to reality and shit like that, because you're playing with a lot of dudes who've never really done anything. When I think they done been to the playoffs once before because they had Jimmy Butler. But other than that, these ain't dudes who done been on championship runs, won championships, or nothing like that. So when you get down in these type of games, you still got the confidence that we can still come back on this team. Like, they might be up now, and they talking and chatting and doing a lot of chirping now, but they still got to play us for this second half. And Minnesota shot so fucking bad in that fourth quarter. Dead ass, it was a point in time where I think they went about 7 minutes without scoring a bucket. It could have been longer than that. Like, every shot was just clank, clank, clank. And that's after they went away from Deangelo Russell, who had got hot, and they just went away from him towards the tail end of that third quarter. It felt like they just started to go away from Deangelo for some reason, and he was the one who had the hot hand at the time when they was up big. But to blow a lead like this, if you Minnesota, I really do think that this is going to affect them. Because now, and it's going to do a lot for Memphis, because if you Memphis, a team that's building towards a championship contending team, to me, as much as I do think that the more talented players are on Minnesota, because you got you got Karl, you got D'Lo, you got Anthony Edwards. Like, those three hella talented, like hyper talented players. And you would probably even say Cat is more talented than Ja Morant. Now, I'm not taking none of them dudes over Ja Morant. I think Ja Morant is the best player in this series, even with some of the deficiencies that he has. I think Ja Morant the best player in this series, and even though Desmond Bane and Brandon Clark and the other dudes on this team are probably not as great of players individually as the other dudes on the Minnesota Timberwolves, don't fucking matter. This team has been together for a good minute. Now listen, Minnesota's dudes done been together. I think they done had Anthony Edwards so they haven't been together as long as the Grizzlies, so I take that comment back. But they have a dude in Patrick Beverley who done been on long runs in the playoffs and whatnot. So when I said earlier that didn't have that, I was talking about the majority of the team, not every single person. Because I understand Pat Bev done made, runs in the playoffs. But Memphis, to me, even though they players might not individually, aside from Ja, other than Ja, the other dudes you might not think individually are as talented as those other three for the Minnesota Timberwolves, but they done been together so long. They play great as a team. The interesting thing about Memphis and the Timberwolves, I don't know the head coach name for either of these two teams. I don't know the coach for neither one of these two teams, but shout out to the coach for the Memphis Grizzlies, because to have this team continue to fight in this game and not to give up even when Ja was struggling. And then, the announcer said something during the broadcast that I actually agree with a little bit, and it's crazy that he said it and it happened as soon as he said it. He was like, Ja need to find a way to not hit the ground so much. As soon as he said it, Ja popped the ground like 3 times in a row. But I do agree with that, because the more and more Ja keep popping the ground, like falling when he finishing moves and shit like that can lead to injury eventually, because you're going to keep taking that pounding every time you pop that court. Just get pounding every time. And eventually that shit do wear down on your body. So I do agree with that comment that Ja got to figure out a way to not hit the ground so much. Because the thing that I fear the most about Ja, and it's only because, and I hate to say this because I hate it when people say, oh, running quarterbacks can get hurt. My thing with Ja is, right now, even though he is developing multiple parts of his game, the biggest part of Ja's game right now is his athleticism and his ability to get inside and finish. What's wild is, as great as Ja is at getting inside and finishing, it's still weird to me that Kyrie is a better finisher than everybody, and he nowhere near as athletic as Ja Morant. But Ja Morant kind of remind me of a Derrick Rose in his prime, Russell Westbrook in his prime. And the common thing with all those dudes was, when they athleticism started to, wane a little bit, they wasn't the same guards. Now, Ja Morant can end up having a Vince Carter type of transition eventually when he get older. Not in the sense that he gonna waste, just be basically a role player or less than a role player for the back end of his career, but more so he gonna switch his athleticism to be able to drill shots like Vince did. Because when Vince was no longer the athlete that he was in his prime, he was drilling threes and shit. So, because Ja seemed to be a workaholic and a dude who in the gym working on his game, because he shoot better than he shot when he first came into the league. So clearly, I think Ja know he can't rely on his athleticism forever. But why you gotta use it? I'm not mad at that. But with that being said, coming back from 20 plus points down twice in this game, I mean, come on, bro. You go down by 20 something once and you come back, and then it happened again. Come on now, it's stupid easy to lose your faith and lose your trust and lose composure and all those type of things, especially when you're a young team like Memphis. And you on the road with the crowd going. Come on now, it's stupid easy for Memphis to have packed it up and was like, we'll just get ready for Game 4, but they didn't. And that showed me a lot about Memphis, yo. That reminded me of when Golden State was a young team with a lot of young guys, and before they had all broke out and became future first ballot Hall of Famers. It reminded me of how these do, not necessarily exactly like Golden State, but the way they fight back in these games. You know what I'm saying? Like, they don't lay down. They continue to fight the whole time. And when you got other dudes on the team who can pick up your star player, this is a great example, bro. So you know how I've been saying, like, Jason Tatum is something missing right now. Like, he is a great player, a perennial all-star player. I don't look at him I don't look at a lot of people as a superstar. I done told you, superstar is a dude who can lead his team to the finals and win it. Regardless if he don't want it or he has gotten his team there. I only got a handful of those dudes. LeBron, Curry, Giannis, Wade, and then Wade not in the league no more. So it's Giannis, Curry, Bron. Kawhi is a strange one. I told y'all about how KD was a strange one, but Kawhi is a strange one too, because I think Kawhi is one of the most overrated players, and I don't mean that in a disrespectful manner. I mean that in a sense that it's as if people forget that Kawhi was playing with future first ballot Hall of Famers on the Spurs all those years. He wasn't asked to be number 1, 2, 3, or 4 option on those teams. his breakout was in that finals where he was playing defense, and he wasn't like he was going nuts scoring wise. And then now listen, Kawhi done developed into an absolutely great player. And that championship that he won with the Raptors, I don't take nothing away from them, but I understand that they're not winning that championship if Kevin Durant and Klay Thompson not hurt. So I really truly believe Kawhi Leonard, for some reason, because it was like a 2-year span where people just ignored every single detail of Kawhi Leonard's career, and all they cared about was that he was a 2-time champion, and that he was not the driving force of that Spurs championship. And while he was a big driving force of the championship with the Raptors, bruh, Curry was basically out there playing by himself without Klay and KD. We all know that team does not win that championship if Golden State is healthy. So, like I'm saying, I'm not taking nothing away from that championship, but I do believe if you really put everything in a context, I can't really say that Kawhi Leonard is a superstar. I do think he is the highest level of star you can possibly get. But when everything kind of line up the way it's supposed to and people healthy, I just think, listen, Kawhi had a huge series against the Philadelphia 76ers. That was a huge series, like big time shot and all that. And listen, if you want to call Kawhi Leonard a superstar, I'm not going to be mad at you. It's hard for me to do it. But I do call him the highest level because he's a defensive player of the year. Kawhi Leonard is that guy. It's just, I don't look at Kawhi the way I look at LeBron, Curry, and Giannis. But that's just me. But when I'm looking at this Memphis team, the fact that they fight back the way that they do, they don't lay down for nobody. They talk they shit. They don't care if you beat them. They still gonna talk they shit and keep throwing punches. Like, Memphis is a scary team, and people been saying it all year, but I really like what. Now, granted, you go down 26 points, 20-plus points 2 times against a Golden State, a Phoenix Sun, a fully healthy Phoenix Sun, a Milwaukee Bucks. I do find that hard to believe that you will come back against that type of team, a championship team that know what it's like to put their foot on people's throats, and you know what I'm saying. But like I said, this was impressive nonetheless. And for Minnesota, what the fuck? I think it's very interesting because Minnesota got 2 dudes who can shoot, one of them being the second best shooter on the team, probably being the center, and Karl. And then the best shooter is obviously D'Lo. Minnesota, an interesting team to me because, well, not even that they're an interesting team. It's interesting how when the defense started to set in and whatnot, because they started to clank a lot of shots, and it felt like they really wasn't going to D'Lo a ton. And when you look at the other, like Karl, I think Karl had like 8 points this game. My thing is, he not a dribbler or nothing like that. He played far too much on the high. Like, he tried to get the ball at the top of the key way too much. When you as big as you is and you got the type of post game that Karl has, I don't know why you don't religiously try to just destroy people down low. And when they start sending the doubles and shit down low, then work from inside to outside. Like, I don't understand centers working from outside to inside in today's NBA. That's real weird. But especially when you as big as Karl, like, come on, bruh. Punish, like, and then who? Jaren Jackson, as good as he may be, he can't handle Karl down low if Karl was committed to getting a bucket. The Grizzlies don't really have anybody that could handle Karl down low if Karl was committed to getting a bucket. And another problem with the Grizzlies, with the Timberwolves is I don't think they really have an identity on offense. Like, whoever got the hot hand, that's who we'll go to. But because we even, because we are just we make no sense. So we'll even take the ball out of the hot man's hand also, unless it's Karl or Ant. Like, if those 2 dudes are hot, then yeah, we'll more than likely keep giving them the ball. But the fact that I'm be honest, I don't really know the offensive game plan for Minnesota either. It's not as bad as the Nets offensive game plan that Steve Nash over there employing. But I don't really understand their game plan either for the Minnesota Timberwolves. For one, when you got the type of talent of a and you know Anthony Edwards, you would think would attack the paint like far more, but sometimes, like, I guess I understand having Cat outside at times because you don't want him clogging up the lane. But it's just so weird that when you have this many talented players on the same team, that you struggling to find ways to keep this team. Like, because you can't go on 2 26-point leads and then you just blow that and lose by 10 points. Like, bro, how do you have essentially a 40-plus point lead, 50-something point lead, and you lose by 10 points? That's nuts. And so, for Minnesota, this is why I say, if you had an offensive game plan, like the next game we're going to talk about, Golden State, that's a perfect example of a game, having an offensive system that can get you easy buckets. Andrew Wiggins hit such a key shot at the end of the game. Why? Because Golden State's emphasis on ball movement and player movement gets you a bucket. And ultimately, you got to trust each other. Because it's no ball movement and it's no player movement without trust. Because dudes can move all they want to. If the dude don't hit him with the ball, hit him with the pass, then eventually dudes stop running off of screens and setting screens and committing and shit like that, because they know we're not going to get the ball anyways. Golden State in crunch time. Now, sometimes, yeah, they'll lose game because they just can't hit shots. But for the most part, look at how wide open dudes get on Golden State. Look at the easy shots. Look at the cuts that they're willing to make. Look at the sacrifices they are willing to make for each other to shine and have great games and get easy looks. Because the system emphasizes this type of movement. No stagnant play and no watching of the ball and shit like that. Like, look at how Golden State's system can bail them out at times when the players might not be playing their best. Or not even when they're not playing their best. Look how many easier buckets they get. Look at how they can go on crazy streaks like Jordan Poole or Curry or Clay can go crazy. And look at how on those crazy runs they go on, how many of these shots. Now, Curry don't count because this motherfucker be launching from half court and shit like that. But look at a lot of these shots that they take when they hot and how wide open they are because of the movement in the system and shit. Memphis gotta Minnesota has to figure out a system that can benefit Karl and Ant and D'Lo. Like, cause it makes, and for one, I think one of the problems that you do have is that Deangelo Russell is not a legit point guard. Like, he is not running the show. He can get guys, assists here and there, but he ain't running the show, getting people where they need to be at. You know what I'm saying? He anticipating passes, setting guys up, he not Chris Paul. Or I think Deangelo Russell is truly a 2 guard, and I really think that's the position he should be playing. But because he can't play, he not a defender at all. And I think he kind of small too compared to some of the 2 guards. I think that's why they don't have him running the 2. And obviously he came into the league as a point guard. But if they had, like, Chris Paul would turn this team into just a revelation because of how he would be able to get guys good looks, get guys to flow within the offense. Like, that's one of the greatest things that Chris Paul bring to a team. It's as if he bring, when you got a Suns team who really don't have a legitimate system in place to utilize everybody's talent. But then you bring in a guy like Chris Paul, who is a legitimate point guard, who is built, who is hell bent on getting everybody involved and getting the best out of everybody. You bring him in, and he basically bring in the Chris Paul system, which is a lot of cuts, not a lot of cuts, but a lot of screen movement, a lot of different things to help get your centers involved, to get the others involved. And Chris Paul is a player who also knows when to let the star eat. How many times have you seen him step back and let Devin Booker just go nuts? And even have times where he helped Devin Booker get easier looks, because Chris Paul is basically like Peyton Manning. He is a system. And so if they had a player like that, you wouldn't really need a coach as much. See, that's what Chris Paul, that's what Kyrie and KD was thinking. That they was a Chris Paul type of player where we don't need a coach, we need a system. We finna reinvent the thing of a coach. No. Even Chris Paul, a guy who you could legitimately say does not need a head coach as much as other players because of how unbelievably great he is at running a show and running an offense and getting guys in position and shit like that. And even he would not utter those words or utter that statement. We don't really need a head coach and shit like that. Motherfucker called him. I don't call him coach. I call him Steve. Chris not disrespecting Monty Williams like that. Not to mention, I'm not saying Monty Williams is not needed. Monty Williams is a great head coach. Monty Williams and Chris Paul are huge reasons as to why the Phoenix Suns are the team that they are now. And so Minnesota, because I think what's going to end up happening is they're going to end up either trading Deangelo or something on it. Because I don't think you're going to want to pay all three of these dudes. Ant, Karl, and Deangelo. And Deangelo, you could probably say we could pick up his scoring elsewhere. He's not a defender, so we could replace him with a 3-and-D type of guy. Like, if you lose this series, I really don't understand the purpose of keeping Deangelo for the simple reason Minnesota don't need scoring. They need a guard who's going to get Cat and Ant easy looks. You have your two top dudes, in my opinion, in Karl and Ant. You have your two guys. Now you need a point guard or a head coach that's going to get these dudes easy looks, have a system that can get other guys involved. Like, you want to take the load off of some of these. And plus, in my opinion, Karl just having too many of these games where he just disappeared throughout the entirety of the game. Like, Ja Morant was struggling in his game, and he still was trying to make a difference in his game. And ultimately, the other dudes on his team looking at him continue to go hard and whatnot, and they continue to fight. Because if your leader can continue in the fight and give it everything he got, they see, hey, I don't want Ja continuing to throw his body on the floor and shit like that, but his teammates seeing him put his body on the line down 20-plus points 2 different times. So shit, they like, man, I'm going to put my body on the line. I'm going to do everything I can to get us this win, to get us back in this game, to try to get this dub. That type shit right there build, a certain level of brotherhood on a team that's going to build over time, and that's going to be useful. To me, though, hopping back to the Minnesota, they got to figure something out with this, because to me, I didn't see what the head coach of this team, like, sometimes when you got a head coach where you only recognize them when they doing bad, it feel like a lot of times the teams that have that type of head coach, they survive far too long off of their players' talent. And it's hard to even say that because I don't even think Minnesota was above 500 this year. I got to check. Don't hold me to that. But they definitely wasn't a top team in the West. So, Scott Brooks and the other dude that they had after him, they were surviving off of a lot of the talent they had on OKC. Paul George, Russell Westbrook, Kevin Durant, Serge Ibaka, James Harden. But when it's time to coach, like I said the other night about Steve Nash, when the game get close and the talent and they finding the defense finding ways to stop dudes from getting easy looks and shit like that, now coaching got to come into play. Now you got to find ways to help your great players get easy looks and to take some pressure off of them. And I just don't see, like, at least for Memphis, I might not really truly understand completely or like they offensive game plan, but the motherfucker clearly got these dudes, he done preached to them like, yo, y'all can beat anybody out there if y'all motherfuckers just fight. If you motherfuckers just play as a team. The shot's gonna fall, just keep going to the basket. Now, I do like that about Memphis. Clearly, this is a team that like to get to the basket. And they got some shooters. Desmond Bane, a big motherfucker, man. He got some big arms. But to me, this was a super impressive dub by the Memphis Grizzlies, because Like I said, you go down 20-something points one time, it's like, okay, man, we on the road. We down 20-something points, man. All right, bro, it's going to be a long night. You come back and go back down 20-plus points. Now it's just like, what the how? How did this happen twice? To be able to have the mental composure, you know what I'm saying? To still stick with the game plan and fight back twice from that type of lead. With this type of team, these guys this young, haven't been to the playoffs like that much, that's impressive. And I know some people be like, well, it's Minnesota. I mean, it's the same Minnesota that had a 20-plus point lead on this team twice. So what? Like I said, it don't matter about the opponent, bro. Like I said, now it's hard to see this happening if this is a different team going down, 26 two different times. But nonetheless, like I said, you don't understand the type of mental fortitude and mental patience and calmness that you have to we saw Denver Nuggets implode in a couple games back. You see teams getting into it with each other when it's leads far less than this with games in the regular season. So I'm telling you, bro, for Memphis to be this young, man, that was nuts. And just for Minnesota, just like, sheesh, man. What? I really don't know what the fuck you do if you Minnesota and you lose this series. Now, I understand some people be like, well, we didn't really expect them to make the playoffs anyways. Well, you should have, because what the fuck, why wouldn't you expect them to make the playoffs? For one, I think they've been underachieving anyways over the last couple years. But now you got you got Karl, you got Ant, you got Deangelo. Why is this team not expected to make it to the playoffs every year? Why is this team expected to not do nothing in the playoffs? Nah, I don't think the bar can continue to be set this low for dudes who, you can't believe you're an all-star. If Cat and all these dudes on Minnesota, and I know Pat not happy with it, but if they satisfied with just getting to the playoffs every other year or here or there, and well, I don't want to never hear nothing about I'm the best at this, I'm the best at that, I deserve to be an all-star or this and that, and I deserve the first teams and this. I don't want to hear nothing like that, because you can't be satisfied with just getting to the playoffs every 2 or 3 years or something like that. No. This team have the talent to now start to be able to. You just got to put pieces around these dudes, and it's no old dudes don't sign with Minnesota, bro. You're not out there trying to sign a superstar. You out there signing role players now. Role players are signed any fucking where. So you can sign good enough role players to put around Karl, Deangelo if you keep them, and Ant. Mike is one good role player you already found to put around him was Pat Bev. You can put players around these dudes. You already have found the two hardest pieces to find. You have them. You have a third. To me, a point guard that could actually run the show, put dudes in position, get dudes in spots, who not looking to score but looking to feed those two dudes, and a head coach who can put a system into place to get the most out of these dudes and the dudes around these other dudes and have them get easy looks and have the other dudes on the team benefit from having these two stars. I don't understand how you get two stars on your team and now it's hard to score and shit like that. Bro, two stars supposed to make it not just easy for them, it's supposed to make it easier for everybody when you got these two type of talents on the team. So it's wild to me that Minnesota is it's just wild. Minnesota got to figure something out. And like I said, they probably won't fire their head coach, but I don't understand what his purpose is right now, what he brings to the table, because I just don't think that a team with this type of talent, like I said, the expectations is, for one, set far too low. But a team with this type of talent, for one, y'all expectations is low because they underachieve. And I understand they just got Anthony Edwards. But now that Anthony Edwards done been to the playoffs, and he didn't, for one, he had a great year last year. He done been to the playoffs now, so it ain't no, it's not cool missing it now, because they have the talent. Like, that's my whole thing. They have talent. Like, this is not a talentless team. There's plenty of teams in the playoffs right now who do not have the talent they have. Like, look at Dallas. Dallas don't even have Luka Doncic, and they are up 2-1 in their series. Minnesota, if you took that roster and stacked it beside the Dallas roster, even with Luka, you would say that the top 4 players in that team, 3 of them belong to the Timberwolves. You take the Timberwolves roster against the Utah roster, the top 4 players in that series, 3 of those top 4 players play for the Timberwolves. So the Timberwolves have a roster. They have the top players on their team and shit like that. So, like I said, I keep saying like I said, but it's coaching. It's coaching in that guard position, man. If they can figure that shit out, I don't really understand how you can have this type of talent. And like, yeah, it's wild, man. It's wild, because it's probably a coach sitting out there right now who could flip this team around. Like, I'm looking at this team, and this team probably it's wild. There's too much talent on this team to continue to underachieve at the rate that they underachieving at. Because like I said, I think Memphis winning this series there. I go with that like I said again. But I think Memphis winning this series, and this was just a disappointing game to me tonight for the Timberwolves. I mean, having 2 20-plus point leads and losing both of them, and then losing the game by double digits, you joking. You can't be you playing with me right now. But hey, that's the way the cookie crumbles. Golden State and Denver. Hey, man, you got to start getting them brooms out. You might got to get them out, because Golden State took another win. They win in Denver. They go up 3-0. The backcourt of Golden State, the guards had great games, and efficient night for Curry, Poole, and Thompson. I don't know. Like, I can't see Jokic playing that much better than he played tonight. Like, I just, even Gordon had a good game for his standards. So I don't know how much better they could possibly play and win, especially when you consider Golden State did not play their best game tonight. This was probably the worst game they done played in the whole series, and they still found a way to win it at the end of the game, because they got dudes who done been there, done that. They are led by champions, and they have an absolute stud in Jordan Poole. And I will never I will never utter the phrase, the Warriors should trade Jordan Poole ever again. That motherfucker is growing up right before my eyes, man. Jordan Poole is an absolute stud, and he is exactly what the Warriors needed. I mean, the development of this kid, man. Like, I'm so happy for Jordan Poole and how he is playing in his first legitimate playoff run with Curry and Clay. I'm also happy to see how Clay been playing. Like, Clay is getting it going again. Clay's shot, for one, is just silky smooth. One of my favorite shots on any basketball video game has always been Klay Thompson's shot. Also, one of my favorite shooters to watch because of his form is just silk to me. But man, I told my cousin earlier today, I was like, man, as a Warrior fan, I just got to be honest. We really don't have too many excuses as to why we should not win a championship this year. I mean, if Jordan Poole going to be playing like this throughout the playoff run, it's hard for me to see us losing if everybody else do their job, knowing that Kerr is going to put everybody else in great positions to succeed. Hey, man, I'm feeling good about it. But listen, it's been a long night. It's been a long day. And it's going to be a long day tomorrow. And I got to be up early tomorrow. but I'm almost certain that I'll be done working by midday tomorrow. So, well, actually, that just all depends on when I get up and actually head off to the job, because it is some leniency based off of how tired I am, how late I can come in. But either way, we're going to get more into Denver tomorrow, because I do want to talk more about Jokic and everything. And Draymond had a phenomenal steal at the end of the game where he just picked Jokic's pocket. Like, it was just a filthy steal. Draymond Green is that fucking guy. But, yeah, we're going to talk more about that game tomorrow. I appreciate y'all motherfuckers for joining me on another motherfucking episode of Kickin. I got to come up with a name for the basketball thing. But I was thinking about it today. I was like, not really, though. Because I want to eventually have my own show and call it Kicking It with Saint Show. Now, obviously, when we have other shows on the channel and shit, like baseball shows specifically catered to baseball, basketball, and football, obviously, I want them to have different names and shit. But, like, the main show on the channel will more than likely always be Kicking It with Saint. Dig what I said? And I've been getting these uploads out. I'm trying to tell you, I've been on my shit this week. I've been working a lot, but I've been finding time to get these shits out. Because commitment. I had to recommit myself. But listen, I fuck with y'all. Tell somebody you fuck with them too. Tell somebody you fuck with them. Tell somebody you love them. And you know. Kiss your mom on the cheek. Tell her you love her and you appreciate it. And do the same for Pops. Don't leave Pops hanging like that. Don't just walk in on your moms and tell her you love and hug her with Pops sitting right beside him and walk off. Have that motherfucker thinking like, damn, motherfucker don't love me too? Don't be like that. Tell your parents you fuck with them and that you love them. And I'm not playing. Go right up to them and say, Pa, Ma, man, I fuck with y'all, man. Thank you for giving birth to me. I love y'all, man. That's on Boogie. I appreciate y'all. I love y'all. Have a dope fucking day. Have a dope fucking night. Saint out.
How the fuck I pay a couple card notes and ain't even whipping? How the fuck I'm putting food on the table while I ain't living? Cursed from being alone with these dreams of a happy home. So when I think it's really love, I give them anything they want. I got stupid shit I did as a kid defining me lately. When I try to open up a new chapter, they still hate me. My mental, my only drug, so I'm doing this shit alone. Last time I fought depression and she got me on my zone. One bad move for thuggery, hit record from luxury. Pop said some shit that stuck with me. All it take is a mustard seed. Yesterday I caught $40 to buy those. Homie in